Okay, welcome back to our Options 101 series. In this edition, we are going to look at naked puts and covered calls, specifically on how to manage the positions and what you should do and what you should look at in terms of reading your statement. And we're going to go through some basics. And this is such a deep topic that we can probably even dive into some future videos in terms of management as well. Now, let's start with this. First thing you got to do is locate them. Inside Thinkorswim, I did a video, and you can find it in the Tackle Trading Video Vault, on how to read the Monitor tab and how to set these folders up. So go back and watch that if you've not seen it. One position I have here on covered is actually a covered call on Papa John's Pizza. So why don't we take that for our covered call? So if you're looking at the position, there are a few things that you need to understand. Number one is there will be more than one line. There will be the white line, which displays all of the totals for your trade. Okay, delta, gamma, theta, vega, P&L open, so on and so forth. There will also be, if you open the folder, two lines. One for your stock, Papa John's, 200 shares, $77, down to $1.15 today, has its own Greeks, PL open independently, and PL day independently. And then you have the August 77.50 call. -2 quantity, 37 days. This is the value of the contract, 267, and so on and so forth. So one of the first things that we look at is we think about where the call is in relation to where the stock price is. Consider this, with a covered call, if the stock is going up, we've given up our rights at a certain location. Okay, we have said, okay, the stock is at 77, and we have given up our rights at 77.50. What does that mean? It means anything above 77.50 is where we can materialize our max profit. But it also means that's where we have to give up our stock as well. It is a capped reward trade. Now, profit management is generally a lot easier than risk management, and so we have a couple of different guidelines that we use. Let me come over here and find our tool. Let's see, finish content, tools, and TTOS V2. This spreadsheet is very, very helpful in terms of identifying the rules. It should also be in your playbook. If you have a copy of that, I'd recommend that you go back and refer to it in terms of defining and developing an exit rule. But first thing that we're doing when we're looking at this is we're trying to identify, okay, the stock is at 77. We have to give up our rights at 77.50. Now let's look at the P&Ls as well. Let's come back here and Thinkorswim. More often than not, one line will have a profit and one line will have a loss. That is the nature of the spread. In this example we're looking at, Papa John's is up $314 on the stock, and I'm losing $55 on the call. Does that mean it's a bad trade? No, because the total is $259 profit. The whole thing is on the total profit. Okay, we assume that one is going to win and one is going to lose. That's the nature of a covered call trade. One will offset the other more often than not. Let's identify our exit rule for covered calls. Let's come down here. Stop loss rule, break even point. So we can put a stop loss at break even on the risk graph, okay? Or we can put a stop loss under a major level of support. Those are our two basic exit rules. Let me show you how to do this. I'm also going to add a caveat with a more advanced rule that you can consider as well. We'll start with the basics. Okay, PZZA. Let's bring up the chart. Here is the graph. Now, to find my break even, I have to go to a risk graph. I come to the Analyze tab. I locate my break even here. I can even set my slice to break even at expiration, and it will tell me that my break even is 73.11. Now, on the chart, 73.11 is about right here. Okay, so we could tell, using our first rule, tell the broker to get us out if it ever went below that level. To do that, we go from the Monitor tab, we locate the entire folder, we right-click on PZZA, we create a closing order to stop this at 73.11. Make sure it's good till canceled, send it off, and send it off. Now that's a beginner's exit rule. It's a way for you to get started and learn how to somewhat manage your position. There are some gray areas there that can become a risk. If the option is illiquid when you get down there, you could miss your fill altogether. There are things that you have to learn. But in terms of getting started, a lot of people will do it that way. Another rule is to go to the weekly chart and to find support. In this example, old resistance, new support, and set your stop loss there. In this example, that would be far too much distance, and we'd be giving it too much risk. We would not choose that that technique in this example. Other things that you can choose. Let me delete that one. Come back to the day order. Some traders will simply decide to put an alert in, okay, instead of a stop loss at all. They'll say, okay, market, I want to create an alert to send me an email and do it whenever we're at or below $74, because $74 on that chart is a key support point. Create the order. Now this won't get you out, but it will alert you that you need to go and get out, okay? That you need to go and get out. This is where that alert would be. Other techniques, there's a lot of them. I mean, we can go through a lot of them maybe later on. Right now we're working on the basics, just the basic mechanics. Can't keep these videos too long or else people fall asleep. We got to keep them short and tight. We can come back later and look at advanced techniques like rolling or hedging or adjusting or adding a put to make it a caller. There's a lot of stuff over there on Tackled Trading you can go watch. Okay, naked put. Let's find a single theta positive naked put. Let's see, theta. Here's one. Mosaic. This is a naked put for July. There are only 2 days left. Let's see if I have another one. Theta. There's one right here. Twitter. Twitter's got a naked put for July as well. Why don't we look at the Twitter one? Okay. Earnings on this are a couple weeks out, so this will be a good example. Now, looking at our naked put rule, if we come down here and we say our stop loss, if the delta ever gets over 40, that's a manual identification. That's not something you automate. What you have to do is take the total delta. Okay, in this example, the delta is 38. Okay, so by 5 contracts, that's about 8 delta per contract. If we rounded that to 40 to make our math easy, that's not a rule we're going to use. If the stock whenever it gets within a half ATR, the strike's sold, or if it ever breaks a support level, this should say support. Now, charts, ATR is down here, 1.41. The strike we sold, actually we got to get the right stock up here, guys. Hold on, Twitter, DWTR. There we are, coming up. All right, so we sold the 34. The ATR is 1.22, so that would be 61 cents is half of that measurement. 122 divided by 2 is 61. From 34, which is the strike we sold, that puts us at 34.61. 34.61, write that number down. Right click on Twitter, create a closing order to buy this back. Now this is going to be the way you would do it if you're going to use the stock price. You'd have this same market, good till canceled, add the contingent, which tells the broker to buy it back if it ever goes below 34.61. Some traders like to use stock prices when exiting their option trades, and you have to learn these order conditions and order rules. A lot of good videos under the OCO bracket stuff that kind of help explain this from Coach Gino as well. You could add that in and send that off, and that would manage it. All right, that would be one way. Now, these are good rules for a new trader. You know, the more experience you get, you'll learn how to add limits, exits, things like that. There's a lot more that you have to look at as well, but hopefully this will give you a good introduction into what you're looking at. One very helpful column, I will add one last thing, is to add the net liquidation here, and it will tell you how much money is left in the option. For example, Twitter, I've made $272 and there's only 22 remaining, so I'd be patient and let that one develop, right? Okay, this has been another Options 101 video from TackledTrading.com. This has been Coach T. Get over there and get in the game, and we'll see you on the website.
Get off the sidelines and take control of your financial future at www.tackletrading.com. Get in the game.